Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be making a classic Jamaican breakfast, and that is mackerel and tomato sauce with boiled food. So here I have half of a pumpkin. I'm going to chop them into, medium pieces, not too small. This is the rest of the pumpkin. I'm actually going to save some of this because I have a recipe that I want to try later. I chopped up some green bell peppers, garlic, onions, and I'm going to be using 2 tins of the mackerel and tomato sauce. You can use the Alaska brand, the Grace brand. I prefer the Grace brand. You can also use JACK Mackerel if it is that you like chunkier mackerel. This is a small bowl that I have. It's smaller than the one I usually season meat in. I'm gonna put 2 of these in my pot just to measure the amount of water that I have, because we're gonna actually boil the pumpkin and boil the dumplings. Okay guys, so let's get started. I'm going to add a cup of flour. You can use white flour or wheat flour. You can mix the 2 flours if you don't want a strong wheat taste, which is what I did. So I'm adding my cup of flour here. Then I'm going to add approximately a 1/4 tablespoon of salt. I'm gonna go ahead and put a tablespoon of cornmeal because I want a nice tight mixture. Then I'm just gonna take my finger and put everything together, mix everything together, and then after this step we're going to go ahead and add our water. But this, you want to add room temperature water to your mix. So to avoid having a watery mix, go ahead and share out a 1/4 cup of water and add it gradually. As you can see here, I put a little bit and then I try to mix my dough together, and if I realize that it's still dry, I'll go ahead and put a tad bit more water in there. But do not add all of your water at once. You'll find that you'll be making a mixture forever because you're gonna have to add flour again, and then probably it's gonna be too dry, and you don't want those problems. Alright guys, so this is how my dough is looking. It's nice and tight. It's not sticking to my bowl, which means it's not wet either, which is what you're aiming for. Now, there are 2 ways that Jamaicans usually roll their dumplings. Some people prefer a rather flat dumpling. Some persons prefer their dumpling with a little navel, which is what I call it. And you'll see me doing that here. I'm going to show you the second style coming up next. So this style is where you take your palm and flatten the dumpling a little bit, but like I said, it's really just about your preference. I prefer my dumplings to be a little bit on the flat side, so I'm gonna be doing that in this video. Alright, so now it's time to boil our ground provision and our dumplings. So I'm adding like a 1/2 tablespoon of salt. I'm going to be adding some vegetable oil as well. I usually do this when I'm boiling food, which is what we refer to in Jamaica, food. It prevents sticking. And then we're going to go ahead and start our mackerel. So I added my chopped seasonings, added my vegetable oil. I let it fry a little bit, and then this is how it's looking. Once you notice that your onions start to caramelize, your peppers start to caramelize, you can go ahead and throw your mackerel in there. So I'm just gonna pull my 2 tins and add it to the pot. So I added my mackerel to the pot, and some people think this is very ghetto, but I wash my tins. I want all of that gravy. I want all the smoke. So I add a little bit of water to my tin and I pour that extra gravy that's left in there. This is how it's looking. So we're gonna go ahead and add our powdered seasoning. So let's begin. So this is my seasoning lineup today: Maggie All-purpose, crushed red pepper, basil, garlic salt, Adobo All-purpose, and black pepper. I'm going to be showing you the label specifically, so you can go ahead and screenshot this part. That has no label, obviously, but go ahead and screenshot the rest in case you want to go purchase. You can find something similar in the States if it is that you're not in Jamaica. I went ahead and I added my black pepper. Now I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of garlic salt, not too much because I don't want a salty dish. And we're gonna add our adobo all-purpose seasoning, you know, a little razzle dazzle. After that, I'm gonna go ahead and throw in my basil. I've recently started cooking with basil, and it's an amazing seasoning, trust me, especially for like fishy dishes like this. You can see me adding my crushed red pepper, by the way, and I'm going to be adding that much of the Maggie seasoning. But as I was saying, guys, basil is so amazing. If I had known about it, it's so mild and subtle. If I had known about it, I'd have been cooking with it a very, very long time ago. So I'm just gonna put this on extremely low heat, let it cook a little bit. Now, some persons prefer to add ketchup to their mackerel, which I do as well. Some persons prefer to let the mackerel cook and actually add the ketchup in their plate. But again, that's just your preference. Do what you want. If you're watching this, you know, it's whatever you like. It's up to you. We're gonna go ahead and check on our boiled foods. So this is how it's looking. Now guys, pumpkin does not take long to cook, and neither do boiled dumplings. So the most you can do is about 45 to 50 minutes on high heat. One way to check if your pumpkin is cooked is if a knife goes through it easily with no hesitation at all or no resistance. And one way to check if your dumpling is cooked, I usually take out a dumpling, cut it in half. If it is that the inside looks raw, like the dough that you made earlier, you probably need to cook it a little more. If everything is firm, it's okay to take it out. As you can see, the steam is giving me a hard time to film, but guys, we are done. So I'm gonna go ahead and plate this. This is how it's looking, guys. You can pair this dish with avocado. We call it pear here in Jamaica. And if you want to be really Jamaican, go ahead and make some hot cocoa or hot chocolate tea. And I'm not referring to Nesquik. I'm talking the real cocoa, that nice chocolate from Jamaica that you can get in your supermarkets or your stores. This is how it's looking on my plate, guys. This was so delicious. It was a perfect breakfast. Thank you guys for watching the video. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.